praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakah, Kadash. All praises to Yahweh and Yahushai. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai. And double honours to all the camps out there, to GMS camps out there doing the work in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai. Excuse me, people. And double honours to the leaders of GMS who are leading well. Elder Tahar, Elder Rakah, Elder Ramlad, and Elder Gabar. And double honours to any other camps out there that are doing the work in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakah, Kadash. Yeah, keep up the faith, brothers. Anyway, today we're going to talk about Armageddon. Armageddon. The word Armageddon is in the Bible only once. Only once is it actually in there. Armageddon, yeah? And it's in the New Testament and not in the Old Testament as well. So we're going to look at what the word Armageddon means. What does it mean to the Bible? What does it mean to us? And what is it referring to in the Bible? What is Armageddon referring to in the scriptures? What are the prophecies that are associated with Armageddon in the scriptures? So this is what we're going to look at carefully today, yeah? So without further ado, let's actually go to where it is. So we go to Revelation 16 and 16, yeah? So it says, and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, yeah? So and he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, all right? So we're going to look at what the word Armageddon means. All right, so let's go to, where are we? Okay, so Strong's shows you that Armageddon is of the Hebrew origin, yeah? It means the hill or the city of Megiddo, yeah? Because it was the city of Megiddo. You'll understand why it means the city of Megiddo as well, yeah? So in Revelation 6 and 16, the scene of the struggle of the good and evil is suggested by the battle plain of Esdraelon, which is where Megiddo is, yeah? Which was famous for two great victories of Barak over the Canaanites, yeah, and also of Gideon over the Midianites, yeah, which are all in the scriptures, yeah. Now, and for two great disasters, the death of Saul, which was the first king of Israel, and Josiah, which was, I believe Josiah was the grandson of Hezekiah. Yeah, Hezekiah was his grandfather. He was the southern kingdom king, Josiah. Hence, in Revelations, a place of great slaughter, where I just showed you in Revelations where we're referring to, the scene of a terrible retribution upon the wicked. The RSV translates the name as Armageddon, i.e. the hill, as in AR, is the city of Megiddo. All right? So, where it's showing you here, this is what I showed you here in Revelation 16. This is where it's referring to. And he gathered them together into a place called, in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon. So, as it says here, hence in Revelations a place of great slaughter, because that's exactly what it represents, a place of great slaughter, the scene of a terrible retribution upon the wicked, right? Upon the wicked, right? Retribution, yeah? Recompense, yeah? Revenge. That's what that means, okay? Retribution, right? So, let's go Megiddo. So this is Megiddo, right? This is the place that it refers to where the great battles took place. Armageddon, Megiddo, the city, the hill. Carmel is the Mount Carmel, I think is over here somewhere. But this is in Israel, as you can see, right? This is showing you the West Bank, the Sea of Galilee, the Golan Heights, which is occupied by Syria and Israel fought over the Golan Heights. Jerusalem, the capital down there, as you can see, this is Israel, Megiddo, okay? So, this great battle of Armageddon, the reason why it represents Megiddo, because Megiddo represented the place in Israel where the greatest battles took place. Basically, where it's showing you two great victories of Barak over the Canaanites and of Gideon over the Midianites. And also two great disasters of Saul and Josiah, that's where they died, yeah? So, it represents this great place, this great battle, but as it shows you here, it's a scene of a terrible retribution upon the wicked. In Revelations, the place of great, as it says here, in Revelations, the place of great. Revelations is the place of great in Revelations, it's a place of great slaughter, the scene of a terrible retribution upon the wicked. Okay. Now this was the actual place, Megiddo, that represented Armageddon, where great battles took place in the past. Yeah, in our previous, with our ancestors, basically. Okay. During the days of King Josiah, and Saul. Yeah. So if we go and we say, okay, Armageddon. What does the word Armageddon mean? So let's look it up in this modern dictionary today and see what it says. It says, in the New Testament, the last battle between good and evil before the day of judgment. Yeah, the place where the Armageddon will be fought. All right, a dramatic and catastrophic. I can say the word, but it's just my tongue's twisted at the moment. Catastrophic conflict, especially one seen as likely to destroy the world or the human race. So they quite understand this, right? They understand what it means, right? Greek, from the Hebrew word from the Hebrew Har-Megiddo, hill of Megiddo, all right? Comes from that word there. Go back to what I was showing you. So that's the origins of the word, yeah? But what does it mean in the prophecy? The origins of the word is its meaning is to do the place of a great battle, yeah, against good, against evil. Yeah, that's the origin of the word, and it's a place where great battles took place, as we showed you, Barak against the Canaanites, and Gideon against the Midianites, and where King Saul and Josiah died. All right, so it's actually showing you in certain places. All right, so it says Revelation, a place of great slaughter, the scene of a terrible retribution upon the wicked. All right, Megiddo, Armageddon. So it's showing you here what it means in the I can show you again in that's the same. I'm looking at the same thing here, basically. Okay, which is fine. So we showed you where the actual place represented, where it represented the place in the Middle East, in Israel, where great battles are taking place before. But in the book of Revelations, it denotes, it's a metaphor for the great battle to come, for good against evil. So what great battle could it be talking about? Yeah, so we can close that down. What great battle could it be talking about? Yeah, so let's have a look. Let's close down Megiddo. Right, so we're going to go to Revelation 16. We'll start at Revelation 16, verse 1. 16 I want to start at. Yeah. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon earth, right? Upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. Right, so what is the mark of the beast? The mark of the beast is the RFID chip, yeah? So when it talks about the men that had the mark of the beast, if we go to Revelation 13 and 9, I believe, whoops, 13 and 9, I believe it's 13 and 9. Nice, further down. Yeah, it's 13 and 15. Right, so it says here, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. The image of the beast should both speak and cause them, as many as would not worship the image of the beast, should be killed. Yeah? And what's the image of the beast? That's its philosophies. That's Babylon, Rome philosophies. What's going on in society today, all right? 1 second, please. This don't feel right. Like this. So, all right, fine. Right, so he says here, so what's the image of the beast, right? So he says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he calls all, like I said, the image of the beast, so it's the philosophies of this society. Remember, we live in a society that's the reincarnation of the Roman and Greek Empire, yeah, and the Babylonian Empire, in terms of the gods that they worship, the governments that they set up, the institutions that they put in place, and also this new thing which we keep telling people, which is a thing that's been since probably 200 years now, would be white supremacy, KKK, yeah? That's all part of their power institutions, because it's all based on white supremacy. All these institutions that they build around the world, whether it's the WTO, the WHO, the IMF, it's all based on white supremacy. It's all based on making all of the European countries and institutions superior to every other institution of anybody person of color, basically. Yeah. So he says. So when it says to give life to the image of the beast is its philosophies. Yeah. It's its society. It's its kingdoms. It's its laws. It's its laws. Its governances. It's different churches, religions that has out there. Those are the images of the beast, yeah? This whole society's philosophy, it's based on homosexuality, it's based on all these different church denominations, it's based on all these different religions, it's based on all these different organizations and institutions that they've set up, basically. This is the image of the beast, yeah? And the beast should not speak, because as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, all right? New World Order is the image of the beast. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Yeah. So what could this mark be? We already tell you what this word mark means in the Greek. Charagma, which means an incision. Yeah. So to receive a mark in their right hand. All right. So we'll have a quick look at it again. Don't want to spend too much time on it, but we'll have a quick look at it again. The word mark. Receive this mark. See it there? Charagma. Alright? We'll show you. Charagma. A stamp, an imprint, a mark. Yeah? The mark branded upon horses, carved sculpture, grave work. But that's what it is, a stamp, an imprinted mark. And if we go to the root, charagma, a pale or stake, a pale side. Yeah? Pales between which earth stones. Because you know when you pale means to you insert in something, a pale or a stake. You know what a stake is, yeah? Pales between which earth, stones, trees and timbers are heaped and packed together. A pale side of rampant. Pale is like when you're putting up a fence and you're impaling it into the ground. You're putting pales into the earth to stabilize the fence. That's what it is. To pale is a stake, to put something that's going to go inside you. All right, that's what the word charagma means. A pale or a stake, yeah. So when you see it says there, stamp and imprinted mark, so that imprinted mark and that stamp is going to be like a pale or a stake that's going to be inserted into you. And that's what the word charagma means, of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist. It's not going to be no tattoo mark or no stamp or electron tattoo. It's going to be an actual RFID chip, yeah? It's going to be a radio frequency identifier, which is the RFID chip, which is the size of the of a rice grain. But that's what that means there, yeah. So just so you know, that's what the word charagma means, right? So he says it causes small, both great and small, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. That mark word is charagma, in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? Which is the chip, RFID chip, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you can't do any movements within this new world order, globalization society without having this mark, because all systems are going to be geared to using this mark. Everything electronically is going to be geared to be using this mark. Yeah, it says, here is the wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and the number is 666. And we always tell you this, that on every barcode you have the 666 mark, which separates the numbers on the barcode. So one at the beginning, so two little black lines at the beginning, two black lines in the middle, and two black lines at the end. They all represent the number 666. Oh, sorry, they all represent the number 6 in the barcode numbering system. Yeah. So It says every man might sell. So whatever this mark is, for all those that still don't believe the RFID chip is the mark of the beast, right? They're on a different planet, because like we said before, this mark is going to represent what you're going to need to use to buy or to sell. Just like what it says there, save he that has the mark, that no man might buy or sell, so he that has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right? Because having that mark is basically having the mark of the beast, because the mark of the beast is the RFID chip, and the RFID chip is the mark. So if we went quickly here, I typed in RFID chip, just so you can quickly see. Radio frequency identifier. See, this is what they are. This is your RFID chip. Whether you want to believe it or not, the RFID chip is the mark of the beast. No RFID chips in any circumstance. No RFID chips in any circumstance, because it is the mark of the beast. And if you accept that, what's going to happen to you is exactly what we spoke about earlier. All right, so let's go back to here. You accept that RFID chip, and it tells you right here, and I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth. All right, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship the image. And like I said, to what his image is, his philosophy, his society, all those that are upholding this Babylonian Roman reincarnated society of the Romans and the Babylonians and the Greeks, which we live under right now. It's all based on a satanic idolatry, sexualized worshipping of images, stones, what do you call it? You got the icons. Basically, it's all based on that. This society that we live in right now. So that is the philosophies of the society. Yes, it says those who want to worship them, which had the mark of the beast upon which had worshipped his image. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it came to the blood, and it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. All right. So this is what's going to be happening during the times of Armageddon. Armageddon represents all of these scriptures, what we're going to be showing you, that we're going to continue to show you for the next half hour, 45 minutes right now. Armageddon represents all of these scriptures, because these are the things that are going to be taking place during Armageddon, right? It says, and a third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of the waters, and they became blood, because they're all the rivers are all going to become polluted. Well, the majority of them, just like it says, a third angel poured out his vials upon the rivers and the fountains of the water, and they became blood. Right? They're going to become polluted. Not all of them, but the majority of the rivers and the seas, sorry, the rivers and the lakes are going to become polluted. Yeah, during World War III. All right. And I heard the angel of the waters say, thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and was and shall be, because thou hast judged us. Yeah. For they have shed the blood of the saints and the prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. So who are the saints and the prophet? Those are the Israelites. Yeah. The saints are the Israelites, yeah? And the prophets are the Israelites. And only 1/3 of Israel are going to receive salvation, because only 1/3 of Israel are going to refuse the RFID chip, the mark of the beast, and only 1/3 of Israel are going to accept this truth, basically that who they are, that they are the Israelites, that the Lord is coming to bring salvation to Israel, and only Israel and the elect of Israel can receive salvation. And I heard another out of the altar say, even so, Lord, the most God Almighty, the Most High Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and the power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. All right. So, and men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which has power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. So what's this great heat? How is this all going to come about? So let's go to Revelations chapter 9. It says, Revelation chapter 9 verse 11. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. And what's the bottomless pit? Europe. We've always told you that Europe is the bottomless pit. How do we know Europe's the bottomless pit? Because the bottomless pit represents basically a place that has no life, no minerals, no natural resources, right? And it represents a set of people that have no morals when it comes to morality. Yeah? So the bottomless pit is Europe, and we've told you this before, because Europe, and we say Europe, we're talking Western Europe. Western Europe has no natural resources in it. This is why it imports all of its gas and its oil and everything from abroad. If it's from Russia or from Iran and Middle East, or even sometimes from England, because England has gas in the North Sea, but even that's run out basically. But the gas in the North Sea that they have for the United Kingdom was never enough to supply the whole of the United Kingdom. It can only supply something like 10% or 15% of the United Kingdom on a daily basis, while the rest of the gas they had to import. So Europe is the bottomless pit, yeah, because it is dead. It's a dead rock full of no minerals worth of any quality, basically, yeah. So which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abon, but in the Greek tongue has his name Apollon. All right. So let's see the angel of the let's see who this angel of the bottomless pit could be. So we're going to quickly break this down. Right. So the bottomless pit here, abyssos, yeah. Bottomless, unbounded, the abyss, the pit, the immeasurable depth. A very deep gulf of chasm in the lowest parts of the earth, used as the common receptacle of the dead and especially as the abode of demons. And another reason why we know Europe is the bottomless pit as well is because of the wars that have been waged in Europe, World War I and World War II, and the amount of people that have died during those wars. I think World War I, 20 million people died in that, or 25 million people died in World War I in Europe. And in World War II, I think it was something like 5 or 6 million basically in that. And that's another thing why we know it is the bottomless pit. It is this place that just harbors death and has for centuries, for millenniums, yeah? As well as it has no natural resources, Europe. So, it says here, the pit, the immeasurable depth, the abyss, because it is like an abyss, Europe, yeah, because it has all that land that has of no, how can I say, there's no wealth, there's no resort, there's no natural resources on those lands that are in Europe, yeah. So let's quickly go back here. So it says, and they that had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. Right? So this angel's name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. Let's look at what the word Abaddon means. Abaddon equals destruction, ruin, destruction, the place of destruction. The name of the angels, the angel prince of the infernal regions, the minister of death, and the author of havoc on the earth. Now, who is the author of havoc on the earth? Is it not your so-called Europeans, your Edomites, Esau? This is how we know, because like I said, when we're breaking down these prophecies, when we're bringing these prophecies to the forefront for people to understand what the scriptures is saying, we have to understand what these words mean in their original tongues. And when we look at these words in their original tongues, we get to understand of who it could be talking of. Yeah, we understand that who it represents, who it's talking of. So Abaddon, destruction. It says here, ruin, destruction, the place of destruction. The name of the angel prince of the infernal regions, the minister of death, and the author of havoc on the earth. The author of havoc on the earth is Esau, the Edomites, aka your Europeans, your Caucasians. They are the author of havoc. They've gone everywhere. They've gone to the four corners of the world to cause havoc. Yeah. So this is how we know who it's talking about. It's not talking about some despot African leader in his one country who's got power over his people in his country, and he's robbing out the money and the natural resource of the country and putting it in banks in Europe and building houses in Europe while he's keeping his people under oppression. We're not talking about these 1 and 2 despot dictators around the world. We're talking about the people who actually rule the world, who run the whole world, the globe, the people who control all of the global financial, manufacturing, media industries globally around the world, who controls NATO, who controls the IMF, the WHO, the World Health Organization, the WTO, the World Trade Organization. These are all controlled by Esau. These are all Edomite institutions that control the world. So this is how we know we're not talking about someone who's causing havoc in one particular little country somewhere, like a leader, you know, like a so like, for instance, in Egypt, that Sisi that general who became the president, whatever his name is, something Sisi his name is, who's oppressing his people by taking over the democratically elected government to become a military government and so forth, became a leader. So now he runs Egypt. His name is Sisi, President Sisi, whatever. We're not talking about individual leader. We're talking about, because Sisi he's got no power outside of Egypt. He's just about got power inside Egypt. And the only way he controls that power in Egypt is by using his army to oppress the people then, right? He has to use violence against them. We're talking about the people them that control the planet Earth, the whole world, all the global and world institutions around the world, the armies, the financial institutions, the manufacturing institutions, the media institutions. It is Esau, the Edomites, that control. So this is why when it says that the author of havoc on the author of havoc on the earth, this is what the word Abaddon means, destruction. And Esau is the author of havoc on the earth. He is the person that's caused destruction upon the earth. So when it tells you here, when we go back, and it says, and they had a king over them, all right? So their king are their leaders. So for right now, their king over them right now would be Donald Trump, because he is the president of America. America is the head of NATO. NATO stands for the North Atlantic Transition Operations. NATO, the North Atlantic something transitions operations. It stands for, basically. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, obviously just hit me up on the board and just put down the correct meaning, yeah? But it says, they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. So he's going to be the person who's going to be ruling at the time of the most powerfulest country in the world, which will be America. Is the most powerfulest country, got the most powerfulest military. They control the financial institutions. They control all the global institutions around the world. America does, and their representation and say goes a long way throughout the world. Yeah, there's only one country that ever really challenges them on what they say or do, and that's Russia and China from time to time. Probably just those two countries, but those are America's adversaries. Yeah, so it says, and the king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. So right now, the king over them would be Donald Trump. Yeah, he would be the angel of the bottomless pit right now. So if things were to kick off dramatically next week, a week after, next month, 2 months down the line, or the beginning of next year, sometime next year, while Donald Trump is still the president of America, then it would refer to him. Whoever's sitting in that seat, the seat of the bottomless pit, yeah, that would represent that. It would represent him if things were to kick off under his presidency. And we believe that he is the man that's going to instigate something major, whether it's going to be with the trade wars that could lead to World War III, where that could be the catalyst to it, or it could be to do with the financial institutions around the world could all collapse, causing the bringing in of the RFID chip to replace the monetary system with an electronic system, right? So everything would go electronic. All your information, data would be in that chip and so forth and that. So it says, and the king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, which we told you what does Abaddon means. It means destruction. The person who's going to raise havoc upon the earth. But in the Greek tongue has his name Apollyon. All right. So it says, one woe is past. That's the First World War. One woe represents the First World War. The first war that caused all the destruction, that caused the havoc on the earth, right? So, because you got to remember, this is what it says, which is the angel of the bottomless pit. So, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but the Greek tongue has his name Apollyon. So, when the First World War was going on, whoever was considered the most powerfulest leader that these Europeans had back then would have been the angel of the bottomless pit that would have been responsible for World War I. And remember, World War I started through an assassination of, I think it was Prince Albert of Austria, Prince of Austria, I think his name was Albert, who was killed, and that's what caused the First World War to happen between the Germans and the British and the French and so forth and this and that. And that's the war where 22 million or 25 million people died in that war, in World War I. So it says, one woe is past, right? So the angel of the bottomless pit, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. So 2 more to come. The second one has already come, which was World War II, and the third woe will represent World War III, because the word woe means destruction. Yeah, and the person that's going to bring it, we just showed you, Abaddon. What does his name mean? Destruction. They said he's the king of havoc on the earth. He's going to be, he's the king of death and havoc on the earth, Abaddon. All right. So one woe was passed, which represents World War I, and then behold, there are 2 more woes to come. World War II, which is already passed, which I think about between 5 or 6 million people died in World War II, and then we've got World War III, which is to come, which is going to be the war of all wars, and we keep telling you that. All right. And who's going to bring it? Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. And who is Abaddon again? Let's quickly show you again. In the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. Abaddon, destruction. The minister of death and the author of havoc on the earth. So whoever this person is, he's going to be the minister of death and the author of havoc on this earth. Yeah. So this person who is going to basically gather the countries together to go into this World War III. Is going to instigate this World War III, and like we said, it could happen through Donald Trump's trade wars that he's having with the West, with the rest of his so-called Western friends, with England, with Europe, and with his Eastern adversaries, with China and Russia. It could be through the trade wars. It could be through the globalization of the financial institutions, where they're trying to create sort of one global currency. You know, it could be just through what he's doing in his country today, through all these immigration things that he's doing with the children in the country, could ignite a civil war in his country. Yeah, and through the civil war could lead to bigger things. But what we do know is that all of these things that are happening are part of the puzzle, which are going to lead to World War III. So when you see these trade wars between America and China, and America and Europe, and America and Russia, and America and Britain, it's going to be, these are parts of the cake, the catalyst that are going to lead to the actual World War III. It's going to lead to the implementation of the RFID chip and the destruction of the financial institutions around the world. Yeah. So all right. So Abaddon. And it says there, right. So we go back to Revelation 16 verse 8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men, yeah, with fire. And men were scorched with fire and heat, and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which has power over these plagues. And they repented not to give him glory. So what are these plagues that they're blaspheming over? Yeah, and when it says there, and the fourth angel poured out his vial upon that sun, and the power was given unto him to scorch men with fire, and men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which has power over these plagues. They repented not to give him glory. So what was causing this? So we're going to go to Revelations 9 and 15. And the 4 angels were loosened, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. All right. So the 4 angels that were loosened, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay what? The third part of men. So 1/3 of men are going to be slayed. Right. Hold on a minute. Sorry. Are going to be slain. 1/3 of mankind is going to be. After these 4 angels were loosened, so these are the 4 angels here. Where are we? And the 4th angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him, and scorched men with fire. And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which has power over these plagues. And they repented not to give him glory. And what were these plagues? And the 4 angels were loosened, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month, yeah, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard a number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of irons, and out of their mouth issued fire, and smoke, and brimstone. Right? And by these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of the Most High. So when it says there, the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, those are the missiles. Those are the missiles that are going to be dropping down, right? Those are the missiles that are going to be causing this to happen. And men were scorched with great heat. Those missiles are ICBM, nuclear missiles. And this is what's going to cause them to be, it says, and the men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which has power over these plagues. And they repented not to give him glory. Right? So what caused that to happen? What's caused that? This here. In Revelations 9 and 17. And thus I saw, Revelations 9 and 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard a number of them. All right. So, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire, and smoke, and brimstone. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouth. For their power is in their mouth, and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. Right? So that's what's killed the third part of men. Those are the missiles. Those 200,000, when it shows you this, 200,000 horsemen. The army of the horsemen were 200,000. Those are the missiles that are going to be coming and going to be stricken on America. Because we tell you this already, that people don't want to believe this, that America's European allies, and you may be starting to realize this now, the more and more you see how they're falling apart, how they're having more differences with each other, the EU and America, than things that are in common. Whereas at the moment, Donald Trump basically would say to himself he's got more in common with Russia than he has with the European Union. But believe it or not, the war is going to be started by Europe. Europe fighting against America, yeah? Europe fighting against Russia, with the Americans, with NATO leading the way, and then it's going to turn to NATO with Russia and China are all going to be fighting against America, yeah? And in the midst of this World War III is when we're going to see Yahushua arrive in the chariots in the sky to collect the elect of Israel. Now that will happen either at the beginning, before the first missile is dropped, or right after the first missile has dropped. But however the Lord is going to collect the elect of Israel in his chariots, whatever timing he decides, because not even he knows the time that he's going to be sent to deliver the elect and to bring judgment to the nations. Yeah, it could be right at the beginning of World War III, it could be in the middle of World War III, all right? But it's going to be, like he says, the fire's going to be kindled. So we're going to be at war to some extent, whether we're going to be at nuclear war or just conventional war first. Our Lord says that, he says that the fire will be kindled when he comes, which means the war would have started before he comes. Yeah. So to what degree is the war going to be in place? Like, is it going to be at a nuclear stage or just at conventional stage using just normal missiles and tanks and airplanes and so forth, before someone says, right, I've had enough now, boom, I'm going to drop a nuclear bomb on this country. At whatever stage he decides to come, that war will already be in place going on. But we don't know at what stage, you know, are they going to be at the nuclear missile stage or just at the conventional weapon stage at the beginning of the war, where they were using conventional weapons before someone actually presses the button. But this is why it says there, and the number of the arm of the horsemen were 200,000. I heard the number of them. Those are the missiles that are going to be fired on America. This is what's going to destroy America. America is going to become that fire of brimstone, that lake of brimstone that the scriptures speak of. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire. These are the missiles that John the Revelator saw in the sky. And this is the closest thing that he could relate them to. And of jacinth, and of brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these three was a third part of men killed. A third part of men. So 1/3 of the people on this planet are going to die by nuclear ICBM, just like how the scripture says. By these three was a third part of men killed, and by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. Right? These are nuclear weapons. Conventional weapons can't kill 1/3 of mankind. Right? I'm not saying it can't. It would take forever for them to use conventional weapons to kill 1/3 of mankind, whereas nuclear weapons can do it within minutes. If I'm honest with you, by the time within minutes, by the time they've let go the missile and it's arrived at this location, depending how many they send, that can wipe out the whole of that nation or that country or parts of that country within minutes. It's as simple as that. Just like it says there, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do not hurt. All right. So we're going to quickly go to Revelations 8 and 11, and the name of the star is called Wormwood, right? And this is how parts of different nations around the world are going to die as well, right? And the third part of the waters became wormwood. So a third part of the waters are going to become polluted, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter, right? And like I said, a third part of the waters, your lakes, your rivers that are providing your fresh water, are going to become polluted. And that's what's going to kill many, many people. Just like it says that many men died of the waters because they were made bitter, meaning they were polluted. Yeah. And the fourth angel sounded the third part of the sun. Yeah. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so that the third part of them was darkened. And the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe. Right? Destruction, destruction, destruction. World War III is the third World War. To the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound. And like I said, it shows you here. Where was I? These are the angels it was speaking of, are yet to sound. Sorry, in here. So when it says the three angels yet to sound, because we just went from the fourth angel, and the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. That's the nuclear war. That's the fourth angel that's going to cause these different countries to hit the nuclear button, yeah? And men were scorched with heat and blasphemed the name of the Most High, which has power over these plagues, and they had repented not to give him glory. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they groaned their tongues for pain, and blasphemed the Most High of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. There's going to be a lot of diseases, and people are going to be sick and ill just from the nuclear fallout. You understand? Because at that stage there, the elect will be in the chariots, witnessing the destruction of the nations amongst each other and the total destruction of America. And like I said, before the nuclear war kicks off, the elect will be in the chariots. The Most High is coming to collect them. All right? Now, the war will probably start as a conventional war, like most wars start, conventional wars. They would send him cruise missiles, tanks, airplanes firing in missiles and so forth and that, before it turns into a nuclear, because something's going to have to happen dramatically during the war that's going to cause someone to hit the nuclear button. And before that happens, before the first nuclear strike happens, the elect will be gathered from the four corners and put into the chariots. But the war would already been kindled. It would already be on its way, because it will definitely start off as a conventional war before it moves on to a nuclear war. All right. And he blasphemed them, and they blasphemed the Most High of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. Absolutely not. They still couldn't see what, because people are going to be cussing out the Most High. They're going to be saying, how can you do this, God? How can you make these people die? How can you let this happen to us? But yet still they do not know the Most High. They do not seek the Most High to give praises and pray to the Most High and pray for their salvation if they are of the elect of Israel. Yeah, and to pray for their forgiveness of their sins, because the Most High is always stressing in the scriptures. He always says that in the place of your captivity, if in the place of your captivity you can remember the Most High, and in the place of your captivity, if you can remember your sins and you repent of them, then the Most High will reach out to you through Yahweh Shai, our mediator. It says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And that is starting to happen in terms of those rivers out here, the river Euphrates and that, they are starting to dry up. But they will be totally dried up during this nuclear war, during this war. Just like it says there, when the sixth angel pours out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the waters thereof were dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Right? Because if most of the waters and the lakes and the rivers are going to be polluted, there's only going to be a few places where people are going to be able to get fresh water from, basically, yeah? And I mean, when I say places, I mean main river sources of water. And Euphrates will be one of them. But just like it says there, the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up. There ain't going to be no water there for people to gather. It's going to be dried up. During World War III, it's going to be totally dried up. There's not going to be any water there for people to gather. And it's only then you're going to realize the importance and the value of water. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon. What are those 3 unclean spirits? They represent London, Rome, and America. Yeah, that's what they represent. So I say England, Rome and America. That's what they represent. Yeah, the 3 unclean spirits like the frogs come out. What are we in? We're still in 16, aren't we? And that's what they represent, yeah? And I saw the 3 unclean spirits like the frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. Yeah? For they are the spirits of devils, absolutely, working miracles which go forth into the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of the God Almighty, of Yahweh Almighty. Yeah? So between Rome, remember I say Rome represents their church. Yeah, that's their head. That's where their church, their religious institution, the head of the religious institution is in Rome, which is the Vatican. London, England, represents their financial institution. That's where all their money is. Yeah, in London. London has all the old money and the new money, mainly the old money sitting in the city of London. Yeah, London represents a financial institution. America represents the military institution. Yeah. So this is what makes up the dragon, the beast. These 3 here make up who the beast is, basically. But each one of them have their own, in a sense, have their own, what's the correct word to use? For lack of a better word, each one of them have their own specialities. One's going to represent the money institution, which is London. One's going to represent the religious institution, which is Rome. And one's going to represent the military institution, which is America. All right? It says, for they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth, unto the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of the Almighty. Yeah? Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watches and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. So when it says, blessed is he that keepeth his garments before I walk naked, talking about the scriptures. It says, behold, I come as a thief Blessed is he that watches and keepeth his garment. Watching and keeping his garments are talking about the scriptures. It doesn't mean I'm washing my my garments that I got on here now and I'm keeping them clean. I'm ironing them for when I want to when I'm doing the word, bringing the word out. No. It's talking about the scriptures. Yeah. That's what it's talking about. And it says, blessed is he that watches and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. It's this. Because when you don't have the knowledge, if you've not been taught the scriptures by a credible teacher, if the Holy Spirit is not being put on you by the Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai for you to enable you to break down the scriptures after you've had your teachings by your teachers, that you can go by yourself and start breaking down the scriptures, then you're naked. And this is what it says, blessed he that keeps his garments. This is your garment here, and does not walk naked. This is why you have, this is what keeps you clothed. Yeah, the scriptures, the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and that they see shame. All right, so they won't see your shame. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, which we explained to you earlier what the word Armageddon means. Yeah, the place of destruction, place of battle. Yeah, so if we go back up here, it says, for they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth to the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to battle of the great day of the Lord Almighty. Yeah, what is that battle they're talking about? That battle is, where are we? This here. These shall make war with the Lamb. Okay. Okay. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which represents NATO. Yeah, this represents NATO. This represents the European Union. Yeah, because the original European Union was 10 members. Yeah. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Yeah. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Yeah. The beast is what? America. United States of America. That's what that represents. Yeah. And they will give their power unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb. Who is the Lamb? Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords, King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Yeah? So, if we go back to, we can get rid of one word. We can get rid of that for now. If we go back to Revelation 16 and 14, it says, for they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. Yeah, that great battle is this here. Yeah, these that make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords, King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he says unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Right? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Yeah. So, as I said to you already, you can see this already. This friendship is already developing to this state now, because Europe is starting to hate America. All right. The whore represents America, the United States of America. So you can start to see the breaking down of the relationship between the European Union and America. You just got to see and hear what Trump said about them yesterday. He told that Merkel, the German leader, is controlled by the Russians. That Russia controls Germany because Germany receives 70% or 60% of its energy from Russia through, and they're building and they're working on a new project together, building a new pipeline coming directly from Russia to Germany, basically, which would make the gas more cheaper and more efficient for them to receive. So Trump was saying how Germany is not paying its dues into NATO, and that NATO is not worth the paper it's written on until the rest of these countries start paying their fair dues and so forth and this and that. So he went into them yesterday, Donald Trump. He went into all of these European unions. He hit them hard. He didn't come into the meeting and greet them with hugs and kisses and smiles and drinking coffee and croissants. The minute the man sat down, he roasted all of the European and NATO leaders, right? He roasted all of them in their faces. He didn't hide and do it. Trump did it in their faces. This is why we said already that this man is definitely the reincarnation of Nero or King Herod, Donald Trump, because he don't ramp to say what he means, yeah? So when it says there, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, the 10 horns represent the European Union, all right? And we've told you this many and many times before, all right? We don't want to have to go in deep into this today, but it represents the European Union because the original members of the European Union were 10 countries. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, And the European Union leaders are starting to hate the whore. The whore represents the United States of America. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And this is why we keep telling you that when people say, oh, the European Union and could never, or England and France and Germany and the rest of their compatriots, you know, Spain and Italy and the rest of them, would never turn against America, would never go to war against America. Well, the Most High is going to put it in their spirit for them to go to war against America, because that falling out that you see starting to be created now with Donald Trump's presidency, and most of it at the moment is to do with trade wars, to do with how much these European countries are spending on their NATO budget, on their military budget towards NATO, how much these European countries are going out and actually being part of the NATO alliance when they're going to war with other countries, when they're invading other countries. You know how much soldiers are they actually sending out there to be part of this thing. America believes that is that to carry all the weight for all of these European countries. Donald Trump has already made it. I'm telling you, he blasted them this morning. So the fact that and this falling out is not normally, it's private behind doors. Someone comes out with information about a meeting and leaks it and so forth. This leak and that normally it comes out by leaks. Donald Trump ain't ramping. He ain't waiting for leaks. He is bringing it out himself. So he literally blasted and roasted all of them in a meeting yesterday, Donald Trump. And today is July the 12th, 2018. Yesterday was July the 11th when he did it, yeah? So there you go. And today is the Sabbath, by the way, people. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, which are the European Union, these shall hate the whore, which is America, and shall make her desolate. This is what we tell you. The European Union is, during World War III, going to go to war against America. The war will start against Russia. NATO and its allies will start against Russia, and then they're going to turn their weapons from Russia and join in with Russia and China and turn their weapons against the United States of America, just like how it says there in Scripture. And they shall make her desolate. Who's that? Who's her? America. And naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High has put it in their hearts, you see this, to fulfill his will. Because it's not their will, it's the will of the Most High. He's going to put it in their hearts. The angel's going to come and whisper in their ears and put it in their hearts, and this in their hearts, which means their mind and in their spirit, for them to do these things, for them to no longer take this talk and this back chat from America, and to no longer accept the deals and proposals and the threatening words that are America and putting towards the European Union. He's going to put it in their hearts to withstand it and to overcome it by going to war with these people. That's what it says there. For the Most High has put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Because this is what, at the moment, in a sense, their kingdoms are the European Union. This is why he can come in and he can demand what he wants from them. He runs things. America runs things. But the minute the Most High puts it in their hearts, which is their minds, right, to fulfill his will and to agree, they're going to turn against America, right? So, and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the women which thou sawest is the great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth, right? What's that great city? Babylon the Great. The woman that it's referring to is back up here in here. Revelation 17:4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colour, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. That woman represents the United States of America. It's not talking about an actual woman, it's the United States of America. And as the next verse says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great. Mystery, it may be a mystery to some people, but Babylon the Great is the United States of America. It says the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth is the United States of America. All right? And that's why I say at the bottom here, it says, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city. That great city represents the United States of America, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Does not the United States of America reign over all these different kings and leaders and power brokers and institutions over the world? Wall Street governs the whole financial stock market institutions. The Nasdaq and the Dow Jones down in Wall Street. Yeah? Even though the money is in the city of London, because that's where all the old money is. And I always tell you before that old money is worth more than this new money. This Google, Facebook, and YouTube owners or whatever. That's new money. Old money is going back to the days of the Rothschilds and the Oppenheimers and the what's his name, the Rockefellers and the JP Morgans, and to the days when those people were making money and money was valued was gold and silver. That's old money. That's real money. Yeah. So the woman which thou sawest is that great city. That great city is the United States of America. It's not going to say, and the woman which thou sawest is the United States of America. It's not going to say that, people. And you'd be a fool to believe it's going to say that, because the United States of America was not around when John the Revelator was writing down the Revelation, the book of Revelations. So he wrote it down as a great city. It was not named America until the 15th century. The 16th century, which was around 1501 or whatever. And it's named after a person called Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo Vespucci. Vespucci is the man that landed on America, and America is named after him, after his name. All right. So it's not going to say, and the one which thou sawest is the United States of America. It's that great city. That great city is the United States of America, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. America reigns over the kings of the earth. You can see it today. Like I said, he's here in Europe. He'll be in England today. Sorry, he's flying to England today. Donald Trump's going to be here for 4 days. He has a meeting with the rest of these people, our Prime Minister on Monday and so forth and this and that. So, and they all have to bow and kowtow to him. They all have to. And that's the fact. Because America may represent 5% of the world population, but it consumes 25% of the world resources. So they're the biggest consumers on the planet. So everybody wants to trade with them. That's one of their things. And they got the biggest military might on the planet. All right? So that's who that woman is. So like I said, this is all referred to Armageddon. So we go to Revelation 19 verse 17. And I saw the angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of the heaven, come and gather yourself together unto the supper of the great power. That supper is going to be all of the dead that are going to remain from World War III. Yeah, which is what I said to you before. All of this represents Armageddon, the time of destruction, the day of the havoc, the person who Apollyon. Let me just get him right again. Sorry. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, the day of Armageddon. Yeah, that's what this all represents, right? So the angel's gonna get all the birds, the fowls of the air, your vultures, everything that your ravens, your crows, everything that considered like scavengers that eats dead bodies and such. This is what he's gonna say: come and gather yourself together unto the supper. He says it's a supper, So the angels tell them to come and have this supper, which are the human bodies of the great day of the Most High, which is World War III. That ye may eat the flesh of kings, there you go, I'm telling you straight there, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army. Who is him that sat on the horse? Yahushai. And the beast was taken, which represents Esau, the Edomites, their society, their kingdom, the United States of America, is the head of the beast. Yeah? And with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, which would represent Rome, and with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. Because I'm telling you this, the Vatican, the Catholic Church, is going to tell you it's okay to take that mark. And they're going to, and they're probably going to say to their parishes and their worshippers that for them to continue being part of the church institution, you need to take this RFID chip because it's part of this new whatever religious order, whatever they're going to put it to them. The Catholic Church, just like the governments around the world, are going to put it to the people, to the masses, that it's okay to take this RFID chip. It's going to be in the best interest of you out of fear, whatever it is, whether it's terrorism they're going to use to say why you need it, or whatever reasons, they're going to sell it to you and to say you need it more than it needs you. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. Right? Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to deceive them to get the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. And them that worship his image, which is his society, his philosophies. I said it before. This society is based on homosexuality, Satanism. It's based on white supremacy. It's based on all these different financial, manufacturing and media institutions which are there to support Esau, the Edomites and the Europeans, and to denounce all the peoples of color, most importantly the children of Israel, because they know who the true children of Israel are. Those people who they put on slave ships and worked in their plantation fields, who they beat, whipped, tortured, who they lynched, spent 100 years lynching, murdering, raping and pillaging. Those are the children of Israel, and they will know it on the day of judgment. All right? It said, these both were cast alive into the lake of the burning, of the fire burning with brimstone. That lake of the fire burning with brimstone is the United States of America. Yeah? That's what that's referring to. It's not referring to some barbecue backyard or some fire in some bin or something like that. That's referring to the United States of America. And the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse. Yeah? Which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. So the sword that proceeded out of his mouth is not an actual sword coming out of his actual mouth. It's the laser beam that's going to be coming from the chariots. That's the sword that this... Because remember, the sword, the word sword represents your modern day weapon. That's all it is. It represents whatever weapons you use in this time in society. So when it says there, and the remnant was slain with the sword. So those that survived the nuclear fallout are going to be slain with the sword, right? And we're talking about those that are going to receive the judgment of death. Yeah, that would have survived the nuclear fallout are going to receive their judgment by death by the chariots and their beams. That's what it says there. And the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse. That's Yahushua. The horse that he sat on represents his chariot. It's not an actual horse riding like a mule. It's a chariot that is in which sword proceeds out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. So at the beginning here, it will say here, and after these things I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Hallelujah, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our power. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he has judged the great whore. The great whore is the United States of America, which did corrupt the earth. What? I'm not being funny, people, but what country has the most influence on every other country on this planet Earth? Is it not the United States of America? Everyone wants to go to America. Everyone wants to be American. Everyone wants to watch an American movie. Everyone wants to be an American rapper or singer or whatever artist they got in America. Everyone wants to go to America. Everyone wants the American dream. Everyone wants the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, the Kentuckys, all these American institutions in their countries. Everyone's having to accept homosexuality, which is coming from being sent from America to all the countries around the world to accept it. If they don't accept it, then they don't do no deals with America. So it says here, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and has avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. Who are the servants? The people that went into slavery, and the indigenous Indians, Native American Indians of North and South America and Canada. And all of those that went into slavery via the slave ships in the Americas, in North America, in South America, and all throughout the West Indies. Those are, and he has avenged the blood of his servants. Those are the Lord's servants. I don't want to drag this on because I could go on forever for this, you know. But anyway, so that great battle is this. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. That's like North Korea saying, that's the weak saying I am strong with their nuclear weapons, because they're weak financially and globally and internationally, but they're strong because they've got the nuclear weapons and they've got an army of over 2 million men, and they've got all that army artillery that they've got there. And so that's an example of the weak saying I am strong. It says, beat your plowshares into swords. These are metaphors. And your pruning hooks into spears. I'm talking about going to war. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Tiva, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. The valley of Jehoshaphat is in the same place where Megiddo is. For there will I sit to judge all the the heathen round about. And the Valley of Jehoshaphat is also a place well known for great victories of wars. So these are metaphors of the great battles that are to come. So it uses this again, just like how it uses the word Armageddon that represented Megiddo, as well as it in Revelation it represents the minister of death and the harbour of havoc on the earth. It also represented an actual place called Megiddo. The Valley of Jehoshaphat is another place of wars and victories in Israel. Yeah, it says, and if you look at the word Jehoshaphat, look, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, Yehoshaphat, you're going to see, look, Jehovah has judged, and that's what it actually means, the actual word. And I forgot to say that because that was one of the kings of Judah, Jehoshaphat. Jehovah has judged, because that's what it's coming to do. It's going to be the valley of judgment, right? Symbolic name of the valley near Jerusalem, which is the place of ultimate judgment. Yeah, and like I said, it's a valley in Israel. Yeah, maybe the deep ravine which separates Jerusalem from the Mount of Olives through which the Kidron flowed. Right, so the actual word Jehoshaphat, Jehovah has judged, which would be Yahweh has judged. Yahweh has judged, which is the Most High. Yeah, so this is where the war is going to take place, and this is why they use that term. It says, let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, yeah, where Yahweh has judged, the valley of judgment, basically. For there will I sit to judge. There it goes. Sometimes I just need to just read the scriptures. There will I sit to judge all the heathen round about, because that's where the judgment's going to take place. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe, because the war, like I said to you, the war is going to be kindled and ready to go. Come, get you down, for the press is full and the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great, because the wickedness of America and his allies and Esau and his allies is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, which is the valley of judgment. For the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. All right. I mean, I don't really want to have to go into any more with this, but that is Armageddon. It's talking about the valley of decision, the valley of judgment. Yeah. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to the battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into the captivity, and the rest of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall Yahweh go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of the battle. So it's going to be a great and dreadful day, the day of Armageddon, the day of the valley of Jehoshaphat, which means the valley of the battles. So on that note, I don't really want to go to, because there's so I could go on forever when it comes to the judgment of the United States of America and its allies and all the different scriptures. We haven't even gone into Jeremiah, Isaiah and so forth. We're going to finish, I'll tell you what, I've got one in Isaiah, I'm going to finish off on Isaiah. This is a beautiful one. Isaiah 34 and 5, right? Let me just start at the top. We're going to finish on this. It says, come near ye nations to hear, and hearken ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh, the Lord Yahweh, is upon all nations. So no nation is going to escape his indignation. Not the nation of Israel, which is our people, or any other nations, right? And his fury is upon all their armies, right? Just like I've been showing you. He has utterly destroyed them. He has delivered them to the slaughter. He's going to destroy them. He's going to deliver all of these armies to the slaughter when they all band together to fight against the Yahweh and the angels and the elect. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. That is the ICBM, the nuclear missiles. That's what it says. All the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. Because when your nuclear bomb drops and you see the mushroom cloud come up, it rolls together like a scroll. Goes like that, like a scroll rolls out and back in again. Yeah? And you can look it up yourself. And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, right? And all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth of the vine, and as the falling fig from the fig tree. Because the nuclear war is going to just, listen, places are going to be destroyed, just like how like it says that when you see leaves falling off a fig tree or a vine, that's how places are going to be destroyed within seconds, and that's that easy, because these weapons are weapons of mass destruction. Yeah? And that's why it says, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. Yeah? And all their hosts shall fall down. All right? As the leaf falleth off the vine, and as the falling fig tree of the fig tree. Like I said, just go and look at nuclear bomb. When you drop a nuclear bomb, and tell me, does it not roll out like a scroll? Does it not roll together like a scroll? You tell me. Yeah? For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. All right? Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. Who's Idumea? It's another name for the Edomites. Who are the Edomites? The Edomites are your Europeans, aka Caucasians. That's who the Idumeans are. That's who the Edomites are, and that's who the Europeans are. They're Idumeans. They are Edomites. It shall come down upon Idumea, which are you Edomites, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. All right. It says, the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of kidneys and rams. For Yahweh has a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. Bozrah used to be the capital of Idumea. Idumea was a place that existed back in Edom, back in the days where the Edomites lived out there in the Middle East. Now the Edomites' stronghold is Europe and the United States of America and Australia. So this is where their stronghold is today. Whereas America is their military might. In Europe, Italy is their religious might, and in London, in the city of London, is their financial might. Yeah, it says the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood, and it is made fat with the fatness, and with the blood of the lambs and the goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of the rams. For Yahweh has a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So on that note, like I said to you, Armageddon represents all of this, the judgment that is to come, the World War III that is to come, right, to all the nations, right, and the destruction that's to come. That's what the word Armageddon represents in the Bible. So on that note, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rekah, Kadash, Tawada, Amen. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai.